Yeah, man. So let's get into it. I want to ask you first, Will.
Well, before I get started, I just want to let everybody know. I mean, this is a very high emotional topic. A lot of us may have a lot to say, and some of us may have things we want to say, but don't know how, or may be scared to speak on it. We really want to use this live right now just for that. It's open discussion. If you feel you have something to say and an opinion on a topic, no matter how controversial it may be, go ahead and say what you got to say. Um, and let's just use that for that. Let's use this for conversation regarding, this incident, and
Yeah, this will be like a Q and A. It could be
yeah, and
like
see
a
where we can, yeah.
just people want to speak their mind, speak their thoughts, just talk about what they feel, what could be done. Just share their opinions, man. And we're not here to just criticize anybody. We can have honest conversation about things, depending on how you feel, and
Mm-hmm.
we can have a good conversation, and hopefully like lead to somewhere where we're making some sort of progress
Of
or
understanding,
yeah,
yeah.
understanding as one. Um, so yeah, that's what I wanted to you know just throw it out to you and talk about like your first reactions, maybe your first initial thoughts at the time of the murder when it first happened, like what your first thoughts of what you felt like, what went through your head
Mm-hmm.
when you first saw like the videotape of George Floyd and with his knee, the cop's knee on his neck for what, like 9 minutes, and yeah, like what are your thoughts on that and everything that's transpired after that?
All right, for me, man, like, cause these situations like this, I felt like were just continuously to repeat, like repeat itself, and I remember it, like really, reigniting that this got to change, like
Yeah,
back up, like really reigniting it when it came to Trayvon Martin, and then like I feel like we would always see like a dozen where it happens to, and
yeah,
then a protest happens, then we go quiet again,
yeah,
and so for me, I was like, I wasn't sure if an incident like this was gonna raise awareness again, was gonna get everybody
yeah,
in that mode, like look at what's still going on. We got to stop. We got to still be vigilant,
yeah,
in regarding to protesting and trying to stop police brutality. I wasn't sure if this video wasn't going to actually take it to that point, and so for me, I honestly I was kind of numb to it.
yeah,
Like I kind of just because of course it brings up these angry emotions,
yeah,
But in regards to like me initially, like off the jump, speaking up on it and whatnot, like it took me looking at like everybody else's anger and seeing like how much it's affecting them, and seeing that it's actually stirring emotion in people for me to be like, I can't be numb to this. I gotta
yeah,
stop being. I gotta feel this. I can't.
yeah,
I can't look at this as another situation that's about to go unanswered. I gotta
yeah,
I gotta feel like what it is that let that express itself. That anger you feel, that deep down anxiety you feel when you see this, and that ingest that you feel is never going to be answered. You got to actually allow yourself to feel it and express it. And the more I did that, like the more like I feel like everything just started coming back to me. Like just
yeah,
just the anger, just all the injustices, and how it like keeps repeating itself. And it's like we have a situation like let's say Trayvon Martin to start with, but
yeah,
then like it go and then it dies down, and I was like, right now we're in a pandemic, like something that's gonna go down in U.S. history. Like this is something we haven't experienced as a nation
fucking
for
up.
a cool while. You're
Yeah,
cool. Um,
I don't think
this,
that'll
this
work.
like
There we
this
go.
is this has to be
I'll go live on
seen.
mine too in a
Oh yeah,
second.
go ahead. Yeah, this has to be seen and recorded and heard during this time, because this is a pivotal time in our nation's history, and and then like when I seen like protesters actually setting the police precinct on fire, that's how I knew like, oh, this is something here. This could be. because I honestly I still don't know if this is the tip of the iceberg. Because like I just don't want us all to go quiet again, until the next 6 or 12 who die, and then all of a sudden we're back and fired up about it, like. But I just feel like right now is going to be the moment for I'm hoping for more than half an inch. I'm hoping for a full inch forward at least. Like I don't I don't want a half a step. I want a whole step forward into ending this continued pattern of racism. And yeah, like for me, so I guess for me, just in the beginning, I was like numb to it, but then like it took me about a day or two to adjust to it and actually just get like fucking like yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, this shit can't keep happening. Like, we can't go quiet on it until it's somebody that we know directly who's on that in that position. With the knee on their neck. Like, we have to like let our voices be heard. We can't go silent on it because like the ones who came before us in the civil rights movement and all that who are marching before us or putting their bodies on the line before us. They didn't have an opportunity to protect their peace and go quiet and ease their mind from it. They had to look at it and face it head on every day. Like every day they had to see how like, they're going to be, this can be their last day, walking in this nation. And they didn't get a break from that. They didn't get their chance to go numb from that, like they had to face that every day. So it's like, as long as it's still happening, I felt like I couldn't give, myself that right to, let me be numb to it for a while, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too much like to take to like see all the time. But then it's like, nah, like that's how it keeps happening. When the moment you feel like you need to step away from it, that's when it keeps on continuing. Like you got to keep facing and fighting it until it's done, until you stop it completely, you know. And sometimes that's just your sacrifice that you got to make in your time, and it's all for the next generation. It's also that way. Like, I have 3 little nephews, it's also for, like, when they get older, they don't have to go through that experience of always having high anxiety when they're interacting with a cop and not knowing, like, what's going to happen, how they're going to be, how they're going to be treated, and then just, like, or not even being in that position, period, to where, like, this doesn't bring any type of change, and give it that time. Now, I'm watching a viral video of a knee on their neck, them, like, fuck, man, that shit, I don't know, man.
I mean, feel that.
My bad, y'all.
Nah, you're good. Why do you think this time around it kind of became what it became? Because like you mentioned, this has been going on for a long time. There's a lot of, ever since like people started having camera phones, and everybody had like a an iPhone in their pocket to record a video. And it's going back to Trayvon Martin was already 2012. That's 8 years ago already. And we've like Eric Garner, Michael Brown, countless murders of black people recorded on video, by police. But why do you think this one in particular? I mean, I have some thoughts about why he did too, but I'm gonna ask you, like, why do you think this murder was like got the reaction it got from the country and just from people?
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to get this reaction though. Like, I'm saying, like, when I first saw it myself, I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna be another video where like people don't fucking. It's not gonna be the one that's gonna stir things up,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I wasn't expecting this type of reaction from it. I think though Trevor Noah was saying it best when he was talking about the domino effect that led to it. With the whole actually seeing what we mean by structural racism and systematic racism. With what's her name? But Cooper.
Yeah.
And just about how, like, she basically was going to use the police as a weapon, a tool to, my bad.
No, I'm just replying to this.
Yeah, no, I was seeing the replies too, and I was like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but how, like, basically she was using the police as a tool, as a weapon against this black man, because she knew, basically, the relationship between blacks and police. They're on her side right off the jump,
Yeah.
So no matter what happens after that, even if things do get proven him right, there's gonna be some type of incident with him that's embarrassing. Whether he's in cuffs before that get proven or whatever it is, there's gonna be some type of incident. So it was like seeing that, and then seeing Ahmad, who was shot for going jogging and thing. I think, and then also if you think about it, just us all being locked down in a pandemic where we have to look at this stuff, like we can't turn away from it, like we got it clearly in our faces. There's nothing else going on, So I don't know. I think it was just a combination of all that I guess really ignite. I can't tell you why for the next person, like for you or the next person over, why it ignited something in them, to speak up on it. Because we're seeing more and more people, more than ever, I feel like, speak up on this situation, So I don't know what their reasoning was for, like, what it was, like, why was it this police brutality that was caught on camera that really took things this far for them, But
yeah, I think there's a lot of hostility. I think it's a combination of a few things. People being quarantined and kind of being locked in their own like personal bubble where they can't really, people haven't been able to go out, have fun, kind of relieve some stress. There's a lot of high tension already as it was,
Yeah.
You're talking about Aubrey's murder like in February. That just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the history of this.
Then what was her name? The paramedic. Because I thought that was another crazy. To me, that was another instance of like, all right, so the officers that was involved in that, they're out here still policing protesters who are trying to protest against everything that they done, like against their injustice, And that's the crazy part to me. It's like these people still have power. They're still in authority. And if it wasn't for them being caught on camera and us making a noise about it, they'd still be out here doing what they're doing. Like, they don't get held accountable for the actions that they decide to do.
Yeah.
Fuck my bad. We haven't even
Junior
this one.
Yeah, that's bad. Whatever.
Yeah, we had nobody on there.
Junior said that, well, because of the pandemic and these stereotypes and why this, why it kind of escalated the way it did with this one. I think that's, on point where the pandemic.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah. Yeah, me too. I definitely think the pandemic was really pivotal in the reason, again, this type of reaction, because not only is it black people who had already like built up tension from being locked down, but the other side as well. So those who are protesting who are the anti-protesters, pretty much, they're coming into this from the high anxiety and frustrations that they have from being locked down from the pandemic. So I definitely think, this pandemic, wow. Eddie left. Oh, man. Yeah. I didn't think nobody's on this live, but
no.
Yeah.
And then Junior also said the way he was killed on camera, which I think like this one was the most like brutal, ruthless one caught on camera that we've seen. Yeah, man, like just a knee to the neck, and like, and this dude was unconscious for 3 minutes. He kept his knee on him. Like he had been dead basically, and he still had his knee on him.
Yeah.
I think this one was a little bit more graphic, and more like just that's some fucked up shit. Even more so than some of the other ones too that been caught on camera.
I wouldn't say it was more graphic though, because we seen I think it was Eric Garner who got shot in the chest, and then there's the other dude at the gas station who got shot, but. I'm not gonna go into that, but his story kind of got looked over because of his criminal past of what he was, I guess, a child molester or whatever. But like but I mean like
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now because when I found that out too, it kind of made things confusing, But like let's just take Eric Garner for instance, him getting shot in the chest, so like. We witnessed somebody get shot and die on camera, So this, I wouldn't say this was more gruesome, but I think it was more, every time we heard the excuse about how they were fearing for their life and whatnot, But this one, we seen people yelling at him. He can't breathe. He's bleeding out the nose. He's dying. You know, we hear him screaming for his mom. We see all this going down. Then we see the cop casually on him. You know, not giving a fuck. And it wasn't fear on his face. It was blunt. Oh, yeah. Blunt. I mean, blunt disregard for this man's life. You know.
But I think this is could be even more like. I don't want to say graphic, but a little bit more ruthless than a shooting. Mm-hmm. Because shootings are, you know, it's sad, but you know they're more common. You know, cops shooting a black person. Mm-hmm. But like this is like a choke. He just choked him to death, like basically. You know what I mean? He suffocated him to death, mm-hmm. and he was already handcuffed. He was on his stomach. Like there was like literally no resistance. There's nothing that. You know, there's nothing he could have done. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like like the way like an animal gets killed. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Not even that.
Like that. This image, like that. You know, that image of him looking into the camera, with his knee on his neck, is just like a crazy image. And I think the image of it, the way it happened, is also like attributed to like the reaction. Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, a combination of that, all the recent killings in the last 10 years, people already kind of like riled up because of the quarantine. Yeah. And I think people just finally had enough, and we're like, fuck it, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, I don't know. I'm trying to see if like would the reaction have been the same without the pandemic, and honestly, like I don't know if it would or not. I can't say. You know.
No, I mean that's a good question. I don't know if it would or not either. To be honest, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that says about us.
That's what I was trying to think on too. Like as we were like, I was like, I don't even know if that's a good or bad thing. You know that this incident like this would have just been another incident. You know, and then like well, I mean, I guess we're gonna talk about that in the other topics as far as like what do we think is gonna come from all this and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I want to answer. My boy Rowan said, "What?"
Should I keep this on? Because nobody.
You can answer that one.
Nobody's.
My boy Rowan asked, "What do you think about the Drew Brees comments?" So, like I texted you earlier. Mm-hmm. Did you look into that?
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah. Drew Brees basically said today that he's against kneeling and disrespecting the flag. He looks at it. He looks at that as a form of disrespecting the flag, and a lot of people kind of went at him, right? Like Malcolm Jenkins, who was his teammate, released like a video, a response video where he's like, you know, I basically like don't look at you the same anymore, and you're missing the point still, and you're somebody that I respected, and a few Aaron Rodgers. Posted something like his response to that, where he was saying that it's not the kneeling, it's not the kneeling part of it, that you know him and his teammates were they protested by locking arms, mm-hmm. and people still give him shit for that. Mm-hmm. So you're like basically saying that Drew Brees is missing the point.
Yeah, he's missing the message behind it, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't understand how you could get. Oh, these guys are saying they hate America, and they're going against our troops by when they say they're kneeling to end police brutality. Like where in that, just in that statement alone, where in that alone is them saying they're against America? Because that type of America to where that's okay, that ain't what we're upholding. That ain't what we're supposed to be living by. You know, this is supposed to be the land of the free and equal for all. And so if your nation's not living up to that standard. Like, I don't understand even to where you expect those who are being suppressed and oppressed underneath this nation could even show respect to something that's not happening. That's not to a false ideology. Like something that's not really being practiced and preached. It's just a model to use. Like that. Like where could they even find the respect in something that they are not really receiving? But regardless of that, they didn't say, "Oh, this is because we don't like America." They're saying this is because we're not getting those freedoms that were promised to us here in America.
Yeah, like Junior and Rawan made a good point. LeBron also came out too. What Breeze basically said was that his grandparents and his ancestors or whatever it may have been, but he has family that served in the military, so that's why he said what he said, and sees it as a form of disrespect, and he didn't look at the issue that it's about. Yeah, like when Kaepernick kneeled, for whatever reason, people just took it as he's disrespecting the military, and which is not something he ever said. Or just because you feel like that's disrespectful doesn't mean
vets even came out and said like that's not disrespectful. Like
there's been people in the military that said that they're they don't find that disrespectful. So what Breeze, I think what Breeze messed up on, or what he's not getting, is that just because you feel is disrespectful doesn't mean that he should feel is disrespectful. He's not trying to say it's disrespectful. That's his way of protesting. You don't have to agree with, like, you could have said like, oh, okay, like I would have preferred a different method, but you're missing the point. Like,
you didn't speak on the point. You speak simply on the fact that you don't like the way your nation is being disrespected, but you didn't speak on what, like, the issues that's actually going on within that nation. You just you speak clearly over it, and it's almost like he avoided the topic, by trying to make it about something else.
He basically said like, oh, I support the movement, but I'm not with disrespecting the flag. And it was never about that, man. It was never about that from the beginning. And it's kind of sad that it's still see like people not get that. Like it's just about voicing your opinion, or voicing your your support, and showing that you're kneeling. Kaepernick kneeled to bring awareness and attention to police brutality and systematic racism. And Breeze doesn't get that still, or at least he doesn't see it that way. He sees it as a disrespectful form of action that he took. And just because you think it was disrespectful doesn't mean everybody else should as well. Kaepernick didn't mean it as a form of disrespect to the military. So, yeah, you can feel like it was, but it doesn't mean it is, and you're missing the point still. You're making it about a different issue.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You're targeting. You're making it about something completely other than what it's actually standing for. And at first, like that was confusing about it for me was like, because at the end he talks about how he says, "Oh, when I stand and put my heart on my hand and sometimes sing, the words of the national anthem." For me, that's us all saying in unity that we're not there yet in regards to perfect, but we came a long way, and we all know we have work to do. And so the knee is nothing other than the same thing that he's saying when he stands and put his hand over his heart. It's another way of showing solidarity in regards to there's an issue here at hand. That issue being police targeting blacks that needs to be stopped and resolved, And so when people took that knee, it was just to show solidarity, the same way they stand with their heart over with their hand over their heart, in support of what he's saying. We got to do better as a nation. So it's like, how is him taking a knee not showing solidarity and wanting to improve our nation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, it's good. It's gonna be interesting, man. He definitely like strays in relationships in the locker room and with his teammates and other players around the league. People are so divided right now. So it's like
Actually, what do you think is going to go on with the NFL now? Because they're still starting. Do you think people are going to be taking the knee still, or what? Like, you think it's going to be more players taking a knee, or if they do, what do you think? How do you think the NFL is going to respond to it?
if no changes have been made, yeah, like let's say the NFL season starts and those cops haven't been convicted of anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
They've been arrested, but they haven't been
Yeah.
they still have to go to trial, whatever it may be. So if there's still like no convictions and no progress, if they feel there's still no progress, then I definitely think players are still going to protest during the game or take a knee or whatever it may be. I don't know, man. I mean, we still, that's a whole other issue. If the NFL season is going to return at the same schedule it's supposed to,
Yeah.
we don't know what's going to happen with COVID still. So,
That's another thing though. Like, even with the conviction, man, to be real, if it's not a real conviction, like if they giving them something easy, like, honestly, I feel like they don't deserve the minimum, the bare minimum, which.
I feel like they're going to get a a pretty good sentence because the backlash if they don't.
Yeah.
At this point,
I think it's going to be
it's
crazy.
going to be so crazy. Like they don't want to cause further escalation, further rioting and looting, whatever it may be, because they're already, upgraded the murder from third degree to second degree.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I saw that.
yeah, so like they obviously know that they have, like this is they see how serious this is, man.
Yeah.
So, um, I think it's gonna be satisfying with the conviction. I do think like it's gonna be a conviction that satisfies people, but I don't think people are gonna be satisfied about the overall cause yet. I mean, I think it's not gonna stop there. It's not gonna be like, oh, he got convicted, he's in jail for life or whatever. We're happy. Everything's back to
exactly. Yeah.
It's not going to be like that. So there's definitely still going to be a lot of after effects and a lot of things happening. So should we end this with let's just talk about what you think the next steps are going to be. Let's just talk briefly about that. We don't have to spend that much time on it, but like what people can do, what the outcome is going to be after the all this is finished, the protesting, the aftermath of this. Do you think this is actually going to lead to some change, or are we just gonna kind of?
Man, I wanted to, but like I said, like the thing that had me say the thing that makes me think, okay, this could be a really good step forward. And not just something we forget about.
Hold the mic. So
oh yeah. And then not just something that we forget about.
Yeah.
After a little while is the fact that it's during a pandemic, but like, what I want to see is I do want to see them get convicted, and I don't want them to get a minimum sentence like sentencing. I want them to actually serve time, justified time, in their conviction, and then in regards to like outside of that, like right now, like what I'm doing, just donating to some of these organizations to help the protesters who need bail money or court case money, and also signing some of the petitions to help others who had injustices happen to them, but like their voices aren't being heard and spotlighted in the media right now. So I'm signing a lot of those petitions, and then like everybody's been saying, like it comes down to it, like you got to look into your local government. So like, don't we have some elections coming up?
November, yeah.
Yeah.
The elections in November is not just for the president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think people just look at it like that. But yeah, I was listening to Obama gave us a speech today, and he yeah, he said how like how what things we can do to help the help cause change and help the situation and actually do something like progress
Mm-hmm.
and change how things are going. And yes, city governments, local governments are a big part in police, man.